So we're going to talk about the first fight up in the prelims in the middleweight division with who we just discussed. The former Cage Warriors middleweight champion, the undefeated professional mixed martial artist making his UFC debut in Christian Leroy Duncan, going up against Dusko Todorovic, who I don't believe has a nickname, but I will check that for you right now. Does he have a nickname? Come on. If there's any pauses while I'm trying to pull these web pages up, I have it loaded. It just takes a while. For some reason, the connection on this website is not the greatest, but Dusko Thunder Todorovic, who comes in with a record of 12 victories and 3 defeats in his professional MMA career, 11 wins by way of finish, 1 by decision. On his 3 losses, he's got 2 losses by KO, TKO, and 1 by decision. And then his 1 decision loss actually came to Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez, which, doesn't look too bad. He's been pretty good in his career. He actually defeated a man who also defeated Dusko Todorovic in Chidi Njokuani. And then you look at Christian Leroy Duncan, big prospect coming out of Cage Warriors. Like I said, Cage Warriors middleweight champion, 7-0 in his professional MMA career. I believe he has 6 finishes out of 7 victories. We're going to pull that up real quick. Just got to give it a second to load up because it just does not want to load. It's terrible. Absolutely awful sometimes. I mean it. Let's see. Yeah, so 7-0 is Christian Leroy Duncan. 5 wins by KO, TKO, 1 by submission, and 1 by decision. So each man has 1 win by way of decisions, and all the rest of their wins are by finishes. So out of 19 wins, you've got 17 finishes between Duncan and Todorovic. Out of the losses, no losses on the side of the undefeated Christian Leroy Duncan. And then out of the 3 losses on the side of Todorovic, he's got 2 losses by KO, TKO, and 1 loss via decision. Never been submitted in his MMA career. Man, I really like the side of Christian Leroy Duncan here. I did not know him before I broke down this fight. I don't really follow Cage Warriors until they make it into the UFC. So I went and I looked back at some of the tape on Christian Leroy Duncan, and let me tell you, man, this guy is good. And when you've got a striker like Christian Leroy Duncan, who's a traditional style, karate, taekwondo style, kind of like a Wonder Boy-esque striker, very in and out, light on the feet, constantly changing his stances. He'll throw spinning back elbows, follow up with the cross on the rear side as he spins through. He'll feint the takedowns, level changes, throw the flying knee. He likes to slip his head off the center line and roll. He'll disguise his stance changes with the little head movement and the lateral movement and disguise the stance changes into moving into the kill shots. He's done it with flying knees. He did that against Miriam Dimitrov. Actually, that one was a spinning back elbow to punches. And then before that, when he won the Cage Warriors middleweight championship, it was against Jati Milan. That was at Cage Warriors 136. It was a flying knee to punches. He had some issues with his eyes. Milan said that he had a contact lens in that kept falling out, but you're not supposed to have contact lenses in during a fight anyway. And he was able to stop the takedowns and the grappling heavy approach of Milan. He got him down a couple times, but he stayed patient. Milan was able to tie him up, get to the top position up against the cage, almost get into that triangle leg mount like a Khabib Dagestani grappler style. And he was able to stay patient, work his way back up to the feet, just remain calm. And then once the next round started, he came out like a house of fire and was piecing him up, cracking him with big shots, landing a lot of his combinations, stance changes, getting him to walk into shots in Milan, getting Milan to walk into a lot of straights, hooks, uppercuts, the flying knees. He's very good with the front kick, whether it's a front snap kick or a teep kick to the body. That's one thing you have to watch out for from Duncan. He's very good at coming up the center channel with the front kicks to the body. He can pair it up with a front kick or a snap kick to the chin. He can also use a axe kick. We saw him land an axe kick or go for an axe kick before he got that knockout against Miriam Dimitrov, I believe. It could have been the fight against Milan, but he went for an axe kick. I mean, he'll go for feinting the level change to the spinning elbow, coming back with the hook or the cross on the other side, constantly changing his stances, front kicks. He'll go with crescent kicks also, right up the middle, landing some crescent kicks. So Christian Duncan is very elusive. That's the best way to describe him, is he's elusive. He's got that swagger does Duncan. And going up against a guy in Todorovic, who originally was known for his striking on the Contender Series with big power, decent boxing ability to hurt the opponent on the feet, he's become more of a grappler, and it's because of the chin issues that he's had. Like I said, a lot of his losses have come by knockout, but you look at the people that Todorovic has lost to. I mean, out of his 3 losses, he got knocked out by Chidi Njokuani with an elbow over the top inside the clinch. That was in May of 2022. He beat Maki Pitolo via TKO in the first round. He lost a unanimous decision to Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez, and then he got knocked out in the first round by Punahele Soriano. So the knockout against Chidi Njokuani and Punahele Soriano both came in the first round, and it was because they were able to defend the grappling, the takedown approach, the top-heavy pressure, taking the back. Todorovic is known as a grappler. Like I said, 8 wins by KO, TKO, but some of those are ground-and-pound TKOs. He likes to get in on your hips. He likes to take you down, look to take the back, flatten you out, really just outwork you and grind you. You look at the win he got over Jordan Wright in the second round. He was getting out-grappled by Jordan Wright, and we all know about Jordan Wright, one of the lowest-level fighters in the UFC. He's not in the UFC anymore, at least he shouldn't be. And he was even getting out-grappled by Jordan Wright early in that fight, taken down, reversed position, was held on the bottom against a guy in Duncan who, yeah, he will kind of play it smart early on, but he's going to be coming at Todorovic with big kicks, punches, combinations, stance changes, and big power. Like I said, 6 out of his 7 wins coming by way of finish, 5 KOs, 1 submission. Like, he's going to be coming at Todorovic and looking to put him out. And I know it's his UFC debut. We've seen some undefeated fighters debut in the UFC and not do so well once they get to the big stage. But man, I really like Christian Leroy Duncan in this spot. I really like him a lot. He's just so technical. He moves very elusive for a middleweight, constantly in and out, stance changes, angles. I mean, spinning back elbows, spinning back fist to crosses on the return, knees up the middle, front kicks to the head, front kicks to the body, question mark kicks, not question mark kicks, but crescent kicks, axe kicks, looking to step in, pull back. The only thing I don't like, and this goes for both fighters in Todorovic and Duncan, is the fact that they both kind of pull away and use a pull counter style of defense. Their high guard isn't really there. They like to pull away from shots and come back on the counter. They think that their reach and their range, they can pull back and then fire the counters off on the return, but it gets them caught at certain points. Duncan is very good, Leroy Duncan, but I have seen him get caught by using that pullback style of defense. Todorovic is the same thing. Like, he'll pull back because he's so tall and rangy. He'll pull back, but sometimes he'll get countered off the pull because he thinks he's out of range when he's not. And when the opponent steps in, he kind of gets backtracked and can't pull back far enough, and he'll get caught with a big counter. You look at the significant strikes for Todorovic. He actually has a 57% significant strike accuracy, but his defense is at a 47%. Now, we don't have the stats for Christian Leroy Duncan, but I just feel like this is a big opportunity for Duncan, and he's going to take full advantage of it. Coming out of the UK, fighting in his hometown, he's going to come out here, make his debut, and he's going to make a statement against Todorovic. We've seen the chin issues. We've seen the durability issues. We haven't seen the durability issues from Leroy Duncan. What we have seen is some issues with grapplers, but we've also seen that even if he does get taken down, he's very good at using the overhook, the whizzer kick, working his way back up to the feet, staying calm, and then once he works his way back up after you take him down, he comes in with barrages of punches. He can wait in the first round, kind of make the reads, download the data, and then come at you like a house of fire in that second round and really start to close you in, use that lateral movement, use those in and out styles of footwork, constantly changing his stances, have you running in to flying knees, front kicks, elbows, spinning elbows to the crosses, like we talked about, spinning elbows to the straight punches, knees up the middle, uppercuts, strikes in the clinch. I don't think he's going to want to play around in the clinch with Todorovic, but we have seen Todorovic get knocked out in the clinch by Chidi Njokuani with an elbow over the top. I think Christian Leroy Duncan puts him away. I know a lot of people think it's the first round. I could definitely see him catching him, putting it on the chin of Todorovic and taking him out in round 1. We've seen him get finished twice in round 1 inside the UFC. I'm going to go with a second round TKO, though. I think he does have some grappling success early, but Todorovic can get him down, work the top position, But Duncan's able to survive. He's able to use good defense, work his way back up to the feet, use the cage to stand up with the over-under position, circle back to the middle of the cage. Maybe he, takes off a good portion of the first round. He might even drop the first round, but eventually Duncan's going to find that range. He's going to come in with those straight punches, have Todorovic overcommitting on his defense, and he's going to catch him with a big spinning back elbow and knock him out. So my pick is Christian Leroy Duncan to defeat Dusko Todorovic in his UFC debut in his hometown of London, England, via second round spinning elbow knockout. I actually love Christian Leroy Duncan in this spot for a betting perspective. I'm going to pull it up right now if I can grab the DraftKings odds for you, and I will tell you how to play it. Obviously, I don't believe that the prop bets are out yet. When the prop bets come out, I love Christian Duncan inside the distance or Christian Leroy Duncan via a TKO. He opened up at like a minus 155, minus 160. He's been bet up all the way to a minus 195. I love Christian Leroy Duncan on the money line. I just think he's 100% going to get Dusko out of there. Even if the durability of Dusko does hold up, which I don't expect it to, I like him on the money line at a minus 195. So when it comes to a betting perspective, it's Christian Duncan on the money line at minus 195 or Christian Leroy Duncan by KO, TKO, or DQ whenever the props come out, because I believe he will get the finish against Dusko Todorovic in his UFC debut. I like this Christian Leroy Duncan, Cage Warriors middleweight champion, undefeated in pro MMA. I think he's going to have some really good success in that middleweight division, and I think this is where we started off. So Christian Leroy Duncan to defeat Dusko Todorovic via second round spinning elbow knockout.